How is it going, everyone? It's Lumity here, and today we are going to be talking about a boomer shooter. That's what they call these old-style first-person shooter games these days. This first-person shooter is called Chasm: The Rift, and it is a game from 1997 that has been brought back to life and put on the Xbox Series X and other systems, and also PC as well. And it's actually a really, really cool, fun game. And I'm really happy that it got to come back onto modern consoles, because if it didn't, who knows if I would have ever even heard of this game. But luckily, it's back. It came out last year at some point. I've had my eye on it for a while, and I've just been kind of waiting for a price drop on it, and it finally happened. I was able to pick up this game for about $2 because it went on sale for $7, and I had a $5 Xbox Live gift card, so I used that, and I only had to pay $2 for the actual game. And so let me tell you, $2. This game's pretty good for $2. I gotta say. But honestly, even if you pay full price for this game, I think you're gonna enjoy it if you like these type of boomer shooter type games. First of all, its graphics. If you don't like retro style graphics, you probably won't like this. But I'm a sucker for the old school retro graphics. I love old graphics. I like games that have old graphics. I like that aesthetic. So that's okay with me. I like the graphics. I think this game actually looks pretty in its own way. And in HD and in 4K, it looks phenomenal, especially if you are a fan of these old graphics and you want to see them just super crisp like I do. I think it looks great. I love the way it looks. The gameplay it's basically supposed to be a lot like Quake. And to be honest with you, I've only played one Quake game like hardcore, so I don't know. From what I've played, I can see the similarities, but it definitely feels like it's still its own thing. And the storyline, I don't think the storyline's that great, honestly, but the gameplay is really where this game thrives. The first-person gameplay is really fun, it's really challenging, and you have quite an arsenal of weapons, and there's quite an arsenal of enemies to face, too. There's quite a few different types of enemies as you play through this game, and I actually really like the locations as well. The locations are pretty interesting because it does go to some odd-looking places. It goes to some villages, it goes to Egypt, and you're in the pyramids and stuff like that. It goes to these like weird futuristic underground-looking areas. There's all sorts of different locations in this game, and they all look really, really good. And I really liked all the locations. I know some of the people said that the locations felt uninspired, but I actually thought they were pretty decent. I liked them quite a bit. Some of the enemies, feel like they are a little bit out of place. Just because, you see some soldiers that are wearing full armor, and then you'll see, these weird monsters with gesture hats come out, and it's just like, okay, this seems a little bit odd. And then there's orcs that show up, and you're just like, there's a lot of things mixed together here, but whatever, I'm enjoying it. One thing that's really cool about this game is that it is very graphic, even though it's a 1997 game, so it's not super gross or anything like that. But whenever you shoot an enemy, they explode. They absolutely explode. And I thought that was just kind of cool because it really is you throw a grenade down and just boom, there goes the characters, and they're all in a million different pieces. And if you make so many different characters explode, if you blow up so many enemies, then it actually gives you an achievement for it, and I thought that was funny. So I really like this game's physics. I like the way it plays. I like the enemies, the design of them. I like all the different weapons. There's quite a few different weapons. I think some of them should be a little bit more powerful, just because you see them and you get excited to pick them up, but then you use them and they're just kind of they're kind of mid. They're not that great. There's one that's like a saw blade, and it shoots tons of saw blades out. And I was excited for it, but then I started using it, and it just really wasn't that good. So I was just like, I guess I'll use it if I run out of ammo and something else, but it's really not that great. So a little bit more power to the weapons probably would have been a good thing, but hey, it is what it is. This game's from 1997. I'm not going to complain too much about that. But overall, I still think that this is a really cool game, and I really liked it quite a bit. There's some things that some people may or may not like the voice acting. The voice acting is not very good in this game, but I think that's part of the charm of a game like this. Yeah, the voice acting's bad, but it's a game from 1997, it's retro style, it's over the top. I'm okay with some bad voice acting in a game like this. It doesn't bother me. And the graphics and everything like that, like I said, I like the graphics. I think everything about this is just a nostalgic, field ride, and I love it. I love every second of this game. It was a lot of fun. The game's not super long. It took about 4 hours to beat. and I think that's a pretty good time for a first-person shooter like this. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it definitely didn't feel super, super short. I think 4 hours is pretty fair, and I could actually see myself replaying this game. It does have some replay value just because there's so much going on, and it's so fast-paced and everything, that I feel like I could easily play through this again and still have a really good time. I do feel like I've seen the majority of this game, like found a lot of the secrets, but there's still other secret rooms and stuff that I know I have not found. So I want to go back through and play it, and I'd like to try to find some more of the secrets and stuff like that, because there's secret rooms just like you would see in old video games like Doom. And if you can find the secret rooms, and if you can find all of them, you get an achievement for that. So I'd like to do that eventually, but who knows how hard that's going to be, because I really don't want to look up guides. So I like to try to do all these things blind and just by myself, but, you know, it doesn't always work out that way. Now, I will say, the boss battles are one of the few things in this game that I don't like, just because I wish that the boss battles could be... It feels like they're more environment-based, and I would rather the boss battles be decided with weapons. I'd rather just blast the crap out of, you know, the main boss and destroy them that way. That's how I prefer my boss fights. I like just unloading tons and tons of ammo into a boss and then, you know, blowing them up. Or if they have, like, weak spots on them, I like targeting their weak spots and destroying them that way. I like that. This game doesn't go with that approach. Instead, this game, you kind of have to look around the environment in a lot of areas and try to figure out how to defeat the boss by doing environmental things and things like that. And it's not a terrible idea, but it's not the best either, because I was able to get through all the bosses without a guide, but then the very final boss, I just didn't know what to do, because I was unloading my weapon into him, I was looking around the map, couldn't find anything, and then I finally just gave in. I was just like, alright, I'm going to look up what do I need to do, and then I saw it, and I was just like, okay, that does seem obvious now that I think about it, but it's also kind of one of those things where it's just like, man, if I could just pump them full of blood, that'd be so much better. But it is what it is. It's not a huge deal. It's just more of a personal preference of mine. I like to just be able to shoot all my weapons at them and destroy them that way and find their weak spots that way. But instead, this one is more of like, try to actually find things in the environment to destroy the boss. Try to figure out how to, I guess, I don't want to say one thing because it will spoil it, and I don't really want to spoil it, so I'm going to try not to, but try to figure out how to destroy a boss from... there's no way I'm not going to spoil. I'm not even going to say it. But you have to figure out some creative ways to destroy the bosses. That's what I'll say. But overall, I do like this game. I think it's a really good game, and I highly recommend it. If you like boomer shooters, I think you'll really enjoy this. It's probably not the best shooter ever made, but I still think it's really good, actually. I think a lot of people probably think that this game is mediocre, but I don't know. It stood out quite a bit to me. I like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's over the top, and I think it's a lot of fun. There's some moments where you're definitely wandering around trying to figure out what you need to do next, but you can easily pull up your map and it kind of shows you like the areas you haven't explored when you get close to them, because the map's not filled out all the way, and it's just like, oh cool, so I need to get over to this area somehow. And that's usually how I ended up finding my way around if I got like lost or if I got stuck or something like that. So it wasn't too bad. I liked that. It didn't feel like I was getting lost and there was no way to find, where I needed to go. There was definitely a way to figure out what was next, what I needed to do, and it would tell you when you completed an objective. A lot of times it would tell you, hey, this is what you need to do next, this is where you need to go next, this is your objective. It did give you some sort of objective and some sort of mission to do, so I like that. So overall, I think that this game is worth a shot. I think that you should give it a shot if you like these type of games. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to playing it again eventually. I'm going to wait a little bit before I get back into it, but I wouldn't mind playing through this again. I think it's a lot of fun. It definitely has some replay value in my opinion. But I'll talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.